Hey there, creatures of the night. You're tuned in to High on Horror, the show that proves the only thing higher than our tolerance is our terror level. I'm Drew, creeping out of the crypt to drag you through another round of mayhem, monsters, and midnight munchies.
And I'm John. This episode and every future episode is dedicated to all the horror hounds and stoners out there who want to expand their knowledge of the genre and have a good time.
Tonight, we're diving headfirst into the gutter and loving every slimy second of it. We're talking Street Trash, the cult classic that oozed its way into horror history with melting bodies, dark humor, and a whole lot of bad taste done right. But this isn't the 87 trash heap you remember. Director Ryan Kruger, the mad mind behind Friedberry, is reimagining the VHS era fever dream for a new generation. Expect chaos, carnage, and color palettes that look like Neon Nightmare threw up on your screen. And what's even better is that Ryan Kruger is back on our show today. We'll dig into how Kruger's twisted vision is reshaping the original shock value, what it means for the future of grindhouse horror, and why Street Trash might just be the comeback no one saw coming. All that and more tonight on
High on Horror.
Interviews, reviews, and the latest news all rolled into one. He was on episode 37 of our show when we covered his prior film, Friedberry. Give that a listen if you haven't. Ryan Kruger, man, welcome back to High on Horror. We're happy to have you.
Great to have you.
Hey, man. How's it going? Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, man. Of course. So, look, I want to jump right into this because I want to ask you, before we cover Street Trash, can you tell us everything you can tell us and our listeners about RIP, Recovery in Progress?
So RIP was like a 8-year project. I actually started it. I started it before I made Friedberry. So I guess at that time in my career, wanting to do feature films, hadn't shot my first feature yet, shooting music videos, commercials, and short films, mainly music videos. And I guess with that, you've only got like so much control, or should I say, how can I say it? It's like with doing music videos, I had a lot of control, but at the same time, the music limits me to do what I want to do.
Right.
So I can't go too fucking crazy, basically. So then, and I guess I was just frustrated with that. So I started, and at the time I got really depressed and I went through a lot of shit. I guess that's when I, wanted to shoot these experimental films, which is RIP, the collection. So I think there's about 6 or 7 films, but shot over 8 years. And basically every time I had time, I shot it experimental, shot it in one day. And then once that was done, I would send it to festivals, but I never released it online. And it's only more recently I started releasing all the experimental films one by one on Instagram and YouTube. And it was just I think it was just a very, born out of frustration and just doing something like really, creative. And it kind of kept me going, but it also led me to do Friedberry in the end, which was cool. And I think, I shot some of these experimentals before Friedberry. I think 1 or 2 in the middle of shooting Friedberry, and then I think maybe 1 afterwards, or maybe even not. Maybe it was in the section before that, but it was basically 8 years in the making and eventually coming out. But I really enjoyed it. It's some really cool, different type of stuff that I wanted to do and just be creative and not have a band manager or record label or somebody going, you can't do this and you can't do that. So it was just cool to just do something creative,
Definitely. And what does that have a release date, when we can watch it? I mean, it sounds amazing. We love your style, of directing. So I can only imagine what these shorts are like. They're probably I just imagine like an acid trip, which is, perfect, but is there a way when and where can we watch these?
It's all on YouTube now. It's all on YouTube. It's all on Instagram. So you can just check if you go down and check the videos. I'm probably going to start posting them again because I posted it a while ago and then I started posting other stuff. But yeah, I've pushed it more on Instagram than YouTube. But if you go to YouTube, you can also see it on there under playlist RIP. Yeah, check it out.
All right, sweet. Well, going into street trash now, you told us before on our last episode that our fellow High on Horror alumni Frank Farrell approached you to do this remake that you turned into more of a requel. What about tackling street trash excited you?
Yeah, so it was the producers from The Last Drive-In that approached me. Frank was gave his blessing for the movie. But yeah, I think after what happened was after Fried Barry came out and it was on Joe Bob's Last Drive-In, there was a lot of people mentioning I would be good to do street trash, and from there it just grew and people were keep mentioning it, and I thought nothing of it at the time. I just I didn't think twice about it, and then. Yeah, and then the producers from The Last Drive-In contacted me, and they held the rights for the movie. And they said, we think you'd be a good fit. Would you like to write the script and we can do the movie? And I was like, cool. And I was a fan of the original film. I grew up with it. It was one of those late night movies.
Yeah, same.
Watching it at 2 a.m. in the morning or whatever, or having it on VHS. And checking out with my friends of a weekend and stuff. So yeah, I knew what the film was straight away. So it was cool that I had that opportunity. But also at the same time, and it ended up being more of a loose sequel, which is cool because obviously I didn't want to mess with the original. I'm not a fan of the original. The film is what it is, and I don't want to, copy it or do the same thing. So, I mean, my Street Trash is a standalone film, but I think for the fans, it's a loose sequel, and it has plenty of homage and nods to the original film. But we in the film we actually mentioned the original as well in the film.
Yeah, and you also have a dick getting cut off sequence.
Exactly, little good nods to the original film.
And you filmed this movie in 35 millimeter, which is incredible. I got to ask, what are some of the challenges that you faced using 35 millimeters on a movie like Street Trash? Was that a particular film and style of film, or style of movie making rather? Was that more difficult?
Yeah, listen, I think any director would love to shoot on 35, without a doubt. And when the producers asked me, would I like to shoot on film, straight away, without even thinking of it, I said, yeah, 35. That would be amazing. And the longer I getting a little crack pipe out there. And the more I thought about it, I started shitting myself, thinking, "Oh, this is actually going to be quite crazy," because the whole thing is in South Africa we don't have telecine anymore for developing, so we can watch the dailies. So the crazy thing was, while we were shooting, we had a digital playback that's connected to the film camera. But the quality is terrible. So you basically see what you're getting. But then, we would shoot for 3 or 4 days, then send the footage to Pinewood Studios, and then they would develop it there and digitally send it back to us. And only then, after another few days, so it'll be like a week of shooting, not knowing what we shot, and only then we can see what we shot, which was quite, it was literally quite crazy. But soon as we got that footage back, we could see straight away, we were like, okay, cool, we're doing something right. And I think, like with anything, it's about getting the right people on board, the right camera people on board to do, exactly what you want to do, the right recipe. And it was fine, and it came out great. And I think, like you were saying now, I think it just adds to that 80s feel and grittiness. I mean, Street Trash is what it is. It's homage to 80s B movie cinema. That's it. It's not trying to be more than that. It definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's what the film is. And I think it was a lot of fun making this film. It was a lot of fun, and the fact that we had so many, I can't remember now at the top of my head. We had so many reels of film. And I think I'm a good director in a sense of shooting on film that I don't overshoot. So I basically shoot for the edit. I don't waste time doing setups that I know I'm not going to use. I shoot for the edit, and I think while doing that, the other thing that's on your mind as a director is like you don't want to burn through loads of footage. You don't want to do loads of takes. So we did rehearsals, and I think that the respect, I think, just from filming on film, because normally when you're shooting, you're always saying to people like, "Shut up, we're filming, quiet," and people always making noise. But when we did this, funny enough, there was no outtakes. There was literally no outtakes because everybody was just so focused on what they want, we needed to get done, and everybody was just super quiet every time we had a take. So every take that you see in the film is either the first or second, hardly ever the third take. That's how little that when we did it, we rehearsed it, we shot it. If it was good, sometimes we would do a second one, and then hardly ever we would do a third one, but it just worked like that.
And adding to the 80s feel you were talking about, the producers wanted you to use practical effects as well, which I think makes the film look even better. Did you enjoy using the practical effects versus CGI?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously, you guys, again, we're all in the same circles where we would rather have prosthetics, obviously, by far than CG. And obviously, there's people that love CG out there. Listen, there's a lot of good CG out there, but there's also a lot of shit CG out there
For sure.
And I think with this, it was important to do everything prosthetics, and it was important to. There is a few visual effects in the movie, very little, like super, very, very little, but all the prosthetics was makeup and blood and goo, and it was very important to do that, to have that again add to that 80s grittiness, and then it's the type of film that makes you go back to your childhood of what you enjoyed and what and what you used to watch, and that's what it's doing. That's what it's trying to do, just to mimic those 80s, homage to 80s B movie cinema.
And the movie was filmed in 5 weeks or less, due to financial backing. So, like, you had a good amount of time to film this one, and you seem to appreciate the support that you got from, like, while making this movie. But was there anything that you, like, maybe still prefer about making a movie true indie like Friedberry, where there wasn't all this financial backing?
You know what? This shoot ran super, super smooth, way smoother than maybe it should have went. And post was a bit hectic. There was just to get it just takes time. Post takes time, but everything else ran super smooth, and it was great to have a nice budget compared to what I would working with like Friedberry and stuff like that. So I kind of had all the toys that I wanted to with Street Trash, and it was great. It was great to be on set and see all these fucking trucks with all the gear in and going, fucking hell, this is cool. This is we're making movies. This is awesome. And it's still indie, and we still had a lot of fun. But going back to Friedberry, that will always be super special to me, and there is something about. Listen, my whole career has been independent filmmaking, so Friedberry will always be like super special to me. And there is something about, having a small crew like I did in Fry Barry. And, sometimes we had a super small crew. Some days we had more people depending on what we were shooting, but it was just a tight crew, and it took longer to shoot, obviously, and stuff like that when I did Fry Barry. But there's something special about that. I think there's something special about indie filmmaking. And even on Street Trash, yes, we had a lot of fun. And yes, I had the toys that I wanted and stuff. But at the same time, I can't help. And even though it's still independent and it's still low budget, but way more budget than I normally have, I still can't help looking at certain things going, oh, could have saved money there. Could have saved money there. Oh, this is a bit expensive. Shit, there's too many people on set. And not that it was hard to work with loads of people. It was great. I worked with a hell of a lot of people, and it was all fine. But my brain can't help look at certain things while making indie stuff going, we could have done this for cheaper, or we could have got that. But I mean, I think most independent filmmakers, there's always certain ways to do things to make things cheaper, I guess.
Well, I think that that's actually a really good mentality to have, though, like, especially, as your career gets further, and you do bigger projects, having that, how, like, just doing it, like, like, you look at The Fog, like the original John Carpenter Fog, and you listen to the commentary and you hear how just the opening scene of The Fog coming down that, like, walkway took, like, 127 fans in different directions to get that to work. And nowadays it would have been done in CGI in 30 seconds. And I just feel that, like, even though, you might not need all that knowledge you have, or you might not have to cut back, knowing that you have that and, like, that you can utilize that, that's definitely, like, useful. And that's something you want to have. You want to have somebody that's resourceful like that. So I think that's still a good mentality, whether you need to use it or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess having a budget is not necessarily more time. I guess it's not a, because when we shoot like something like Fry Barry, we finish when we finish. It doesn't matter what what time we finish. Is like we finish when we finish. So I guess a budget takes away certain problems, just certain problems. Maybe, like I said, maybe not time, but it just takes away certain problems to get through things, I guess, quicker or easier and more comfortable, I guess. I mean, the crazy thing was, when I think about it, it's always funny when you look at like catering on an indie film, and then catering on a big budget movie, or catering on just a fucking budget movie. So I mean, like Fry Barry, there's me making fucking subs at like 12 at night, or cooking food for the next day, and then being on Street Trash and actually have like catering and a catering area and seats and tables. That it's funny how, like, some of the people I used to work with years ago that I still work with, that I get on board, and they're like, shit, man, this is like a proper film, Ryan. It's like this catering. And I'm like, yeah, man. It's like,
That's
they
awesome,
can tell
man.
by the catering that shit's going good. So it's funny when you look at that, and they'll have like Sean Cameron Michael, that I've worked with many years, super talented actor. He played Ronald in Street Trash, and he was like, yeah, it's better than sitting on the side of a road eating a sub. It's improved. We've got better. So that was cool.
I mean, yeah, food's always going to be important no matter what you're doing. Everybody always wants the good food, so that's always good to have. The quality of food being better along with the filmmaking. And you sort of have this odd, you have this odd house, funky punk rock vibe to your movies, and I think that's why you've kind of garnered this cult following. And I wanted, you mentioned that you didn't want to get boxed into horror and other genres, and I wanted to know, do you ever see yourself ever making like a straight up horror film, like maybe like a slasher, like a dead serious, like maybe cruel movie that doesn't have some sort of like you're kind of taking you out of your vibe of, kind of trippy, like crazy odd house movies, and doing more of like a brutal, like holy shit movie? Is that ever like something that's ever dawned on you to maybe do?
No, absolutely. And there is stuff in the pipeline. But absolutely. I mean, this is the thing. It's like, listen, we all love. Yes, I love the darker side of life for movies and horror and stuff like that. whether it's straight up horror or whether it's just like weird or David Cronenberg or stuff like that. And yeah, I love, all those type of films, but I also love different stuff, like you said, just to do a straight up horror and not crack any inappropriate jokes or anything like that. So, I mean, and again, like I said, street trash is what it is. It's meant to be what it's doing. Right. And, right now in my career, I don't want to make another movie like that right now. You know what I mean? So I might come back to some crazy shit later. When I say crazy shit, just all the silly comedy and the over the top stuff. And Fried Barry had a lot of comedy elements in it as well, but I think it's a little bit more serious, a little bit more experimental. But still, it's fucking nuts and it's still fun. But yeah, I need to. There's a few things lined up that it's straight up horror or just different. And I think It's important as a director not to get boxed in. And I know I won't get boxed in because I'll always make shit and I'll always make sure that I do different stuff. But I think it just happened to be that my second film just ended up being in that like fucked up world again. But I still have my style. And still have the stuff I want to do. I just can't crack these inappropriate jokes and shit like that, and just keep it just mutual and not just have that the whole time. Because it's like going into a lift and everybody's dead fucking serious, and you're standing in the lift and everybody's just like prim and proper, and I'm always just want to laugh, because it's always just like, it's like if you hear an inappropriate joke and most people want to laugh and some people don't laugh because they're like, is it okay to laugh? And that's how I feel a lot of the time. It's like I said, going into an elevator, and if somebody says something or everybody's dead fucking serious, and I feel like it's all right. It's going to be all right. Life's not so fucking serious. So I always want to crack like a stupid joke or say something stupid in those moments. And yeah, so I've got to steer away from a little bit of that and get a little bit more fucking serious and do these other things as well.
And you had brought up Cronenberg, and this, along with Fried Barry, fit into the body horror. Is that something you feel drawn to?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, body horror films is always great. I've actually got quite a few really cool ideas for some really cool body horror stuff. But again, I think as a filmmaker, you've got to. You never know what I can write like 10 other fucking scripts, but you never know which one that you're going to do next. So, I mean, even when Street Trash came along, I didn't think that would be my second film. So, you might have 10 other fucking scripts and you've got your favorite one, but it doesn't mean that favorite one's going to get made next. So it is really, I guess it's really waiting to see, you pitch to companies, you pitch to investors, and some will like this idea, some will like that idea. You've got to do other ideas that other companies, that they do certain type of films that they would like. And it's really not knowing what's going to be next and what's going to come first. And, even this year, there was going to be a film that I was shooting, and it got delayed. And then something else came up, but I was so sure I was going to shoot this one thing, and then there's other things come up. So it's really a mixture of, you never know which one's going to be next. Because even now, there's two films very close to going to happen next year, and I think I know which order it's going to go in. But it's also bad because I don't. So my head right now is in one film more than the other, because I'm just working on the one film a little bit more. So I've got to also be careful and give it the other film the time that it needs as well. But I also don't know which one's going to come first. So I guess it's finishing the one script, finishing the other script. But we'll see what happens.
And you brought back quite a few people that you've worked with before from Fried Berry for Street Trash. Was that always the plan, or did it just kind of happen? You just kind of were like, oh, I think they'd be really good for this part.
Yeah, I mean, nobody. I think there was about 4 people that auditioned for Street Trash, and that was about it. Most of them were on Fry Barry. Most of them I've worked with before. The few people that I didn't work with before, I knew their work, and I wanted to work with them. And I guess apart from that, it's just that. I guess it's just that loyalty, working with people for so many years, and also knowing that, oh, you'd be great as this role. And I do like working with new people, and but I think, when I was shooting Fry Barry, it was like every now and then. So it was literally going through the list of all my friends, all the people that I've worked with throughout the years with music videos and stuff like that. And then because we made Fry Barry on such a no fucking budget, it was almost like, okay, I'm going to get, people back for Street Trash, and then I can fucking pay them. You know what I mean? So get
awesome.
get them on board, but even with Street Trash, there was a lot of stuff that I was, again, you get a budget, but you want to do more. You know what I mean? You want to do more, so you still end up pulling favors. You still end up trying to do a bigger, better film, and and you still ask for those favors from friends to help you out. And again, we're all like a big family, and we're all, it's all a big circle where, we're all passionate about what we do, and we just want to make a cool, movie.
That's awesome. And Fried Berry built a cult following really fast, and now Street Trash is reaching both new fans and old. Do you think about audience expectation when you're making a movie, or do you just kind of focus on telling the story you want to tell?
I do think of it here and there. There's a part of me that goes, I want to make what I want to make. And then there's another part of me that goes, I know that, for example, I know that people that people either loved Fry Barry or didn't like it. They either get it or they don't. And I think Street Trash is kind of the fucking same thing. So I think that, there might be those people that will watch Street Trash because of Fry Barry and be like, oh, this is really cool. I mean, there's been a lot of people that have watched Street Trash that prefer this Street Trash than the original Street Trash, which is cool. But at the same time, I'm also not trying to be the first Street Trash. You know what I mean? So I wanted to do my own thing. But I also believe that there'll be people that will watch Street Trash that hasn't seen Fry Barry, and then maybe go watch Fry Barry, and they're like, oh no, this is a bit darker and it's a bit more weird. I might not like it. Or they might all fucking like it, but then when I do the third film, then it's like you said, it'll be like a straight up horror, or it'll be something different. And they'll be like, yeah, Ryan, he did this and he did this and this was cool, but then he made this. But you'll always find new audience members and new people. And I think, if you look at Sam Raimi, or you look at Peter Jackson, you look at Peter Jackson's earlier work, doing fucking Bad Taste or Brain Dead, and then doing fucking Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? It's like, you look at those things and they're completely different. So I guess it's those like stepping stones to make different content and different things. And I guess it's like music. There's sometimes you want to listen to certain music and you want to chill, and then there's nights when you want to listen to certain things. Or it's just like on a Sunday where I'm like, right, I don't want to watch a fucking heavy movie. I just want to watch a popcorn movie, or just a fucking easy movie that I don't have to fucking sit there and concentrate. It's just something easy to watch. So I guess we're all, we all like different styles of music or films, or there's a time and place for everything,
Yeah, and the thing is that most movies like Street Trash, hell, like even the original Street Trash, don't have likable characters. But you actually made it a point to give your Street Trash heart, and not just be a group of people. It's a group of people that we actually care about. Was that complicated, making that type of character attachment in a film like Street Trash?
Listen, it was for me. It was, you see, in the original Street Trash, there wasn't any the funny characters, but they're not likable characters. And that's the thing. And there's no diss to
Exactly.
that original film, but the characters aren't like likable. Like, it's not like you want to go on the journey with the original guy. So what was very important for me is that we have this gang that are all very different in their own way, and they're fun, and you want to go on this journey with them. And it's important, as I always say, even with Fry Barry, there's still a lot of heart in Fry Barry, and even with this Street Trash, there's a lot of heart. And I think it's important that you go on this journey, and when one of the characters die, I'm not going to say who, obviously you know which one if you haven't seen it yet, spoiler, but it got to the point in that script and I was like, shit, one of them's got to go, and it's got to be somebody that we care for, and that was the thing. So I think it's important when making a film, when writing a story, is to have those things that. And the funny thing is, we're following these, what is it, five guys, this gang, and they're all fucking drug addicts, but they're all the good guys, So
Right.
yeah, it's important to have likable characters that you want to go on this journey with. That when something bad happens, that you feel bad and you feel sorry. So I still think, Street Trash has still got there's a lot of heart, there's a lot of heart in it.
For sure. And what I love about it is that you made this movie for newcomers and old heads like myself who enjoyed the original, but you very much made this your own movie. And I feel like Sokol was put in this movie for the older crowds like me, because I immediately thought of like Garbage Pail Kids and Elmer from Brain Dead.
Exactly,
And
man. It's all that, man.
I love those.
Yeah.
I love those characters, because they don't try to be or look real. They're just there for the humor, and like you said, you either get it or you don't.
Yeah. It is interesting how many people that will watch Street Trash and pick up on so many different layers that I've put there in the film. And there's loads of people that pick it up, like what's going on in the world right now with the governments and this and that and the homeless. There's a lot of layers in the film. And then coming back to our childhoods and the movies that we used to watch and all, there's a hell of a lot of layers. There's a hell of a lot of references throughout the movie. And then some people will watch it, and again, like I said, you'll either get it or you don't, will be like, yeah, there wasn't enough political stuff in there, or I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So, or there wasn't enough this or that or whatever. And it really, like, when people do say that, I mean, obviously, I sit there and look and go, okay, let's see what people are talking about with the film, and it's always funny to see. People, shit that will go over people's heads that they don't even pick up on shit.
Yeah.
And then there's people that sit there and actually go, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. This is quite relevant. Oh, fuck. This is actually quite cool. And they don't pick stuff up. So it's always interesting to see, either somebody sitting at home eating food, not concentrating, walking out, or going to take a shit, coming back in, going out, coming back, pressing pause or whatever, and not like watching a movie. Like when I watch a movie, I want to fucking watch the movie. I want to sit there. And that's
Right.
why like our generation still loves fucking going to the cinema, and you're in this dark room and you're fucking watching this movie and you can actually concentrate and not sit on your phone and watch this movie. And when you're sitting there, you do pick up on more stuff that that you wouldn't normally, pick up on. But there is a lot of layers within, Street Trash, a hell of a lot.
Yeah, and I know you had to have a lot of fun making and writing Sokol, because he fucking had the best one-liners in the movie, without a doubt. Everything he said was ridiculous and funny as shit.
Yeah, no, Sokol was a lot of fun to do, and it was almost like a support boat for 2-Bit, for Gary Green, Fry Barry, just to work with him closely. And yeah, I mean, it was by the end of it, I mean, I've stopped smoking now, but like while I was on set, I'm a bad fucking chain smoker. So I was busy smoking and I was doing Sokol's voice So like my voice was like fucked by the end of it. But it was, yeah, I mean, it was fun. Like, I never thought I would do like a fucking voiceover for this character, and yeah, I guess it was just it was fucking fun, man. It was fun doing it, and even the other thing with that character was, again, it was something new and different that, again, just comes back to that 80s cinema, but not. I didn't want to overdo him. You know what I mean? I didn't want to have him like too much in the film. I think he's there just enough that it's not too fucking annoying, if that makes sense. In fact, if anything, I would probably take like 1 or 2 lines out if I fucking could. But I think he's there enough that it's not in it too much to be annoying, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And you were talking about noticing stuff when you go to the movie theater. I took my kid to go see Toy Story. I hadn't seen it since I was a kid in theaters. And there was just stuff that I'm watching. I'm like, I don't ever remember seeing this. I don't remember seeing this. Like, and it happened with a lot of old movies that I wasn't able to see and go back and see them in theaters. And then when you watch them, you're like, it's just little small stuff you pick up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Again, in Street Trash, if you look at all the characters, they're all dressed like Chef is obviously Stanley Kubrick. Alex, the girl, she's dressed as Ripley from Aliens. Two-Bit, the Fried Barry guy, he's dressed as Roger Rabbit. He's got the red dungarees on. He's got the yellow gloves. The 2 of the bad guys are from Escape from New York. There's a lot of little Easter eggs throughout the film, which is, I think it's just cool to play on that, and it's cool. It's one of those things where you watch it a second time and you'll pick up more stuff. And I think I try to make a film that that once you've watched it, you want to watch it again at some point. You know, you want to watch it again. Definitely. And that's fucking rare. And it's also very hard to do because majority of the films that, you know, that we watch these days, I'm like, fuck, I'll probably never watch that again. You know, it's rare when there is something that that you do want to watch again. And it does happen, but it's way rare now than it used to be. I mean, I think there's too much content out now. There's more shit movies than ever, and I guess that's why we always go back to those familiar films that we love, that we can watch again and again, and it's just as good. You know, every time I sit there and I watch like Total Recall, and I put Total Recall in, and you just have that opening sequence with the music, I'm like, okay, this is going to be fucking good. And I've seen it like a million times, but it's fucking good, you know?
Yeah, and talking about your references to other franchises, was the Rat King named in reference to Ninja Turtles?
No. I'm just trying to... no, it wasn't. No. I was trying to... I don't know why we call it Rat King. I don't know. I don't know, actually. But maybe it's implanted there somewhere deep in the brain. I don't know. But... yeah, it's funny. That would make sense, actually. Underground. Yeah.
And you've done some acting in your films, including this one. Do you find it easy to juggle both?
Well, I've always said with acting is, I mean, you go to an audition, you either get it or you don't, and when you walk out of there, you should fucking forget about it, because otherwise you're just going to sit there and be disappointed. And the ones that you go in there and you think that you nail, you never fucking get. And then sometimes the ones that you think you didn't do that good, you end up booking. So I've always believed that directing, I've got more control over my career than acting, and I'll just do acting every now and then when it pops up, and if I get it, I get it. And yeah, it's I love it. You know, I was an actor first, then director. So, you know, when I do my stuff, I try put myself in a little thing here and there. But I think it's on the Blu-ray. There's a deleted scene that I did that I took out the movie, which I think we should have actually kept it in. but it was me talking about Stanley Kubrick and the moon landing. There's like a little scene there, which is actually quite cool. But yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun. I mean, I think the last acting job that I did, they just played at a Fantastic Fest. It's Sam Rockwell's new film, directed by Gore. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I always forget. It's got like a weird name, like "Have Fun, Don't Die" or some shit.
Gore
like
Verbinski.
Yeah. So I just played. They just screened it at Fantastic Fest the other day, like a first screening. So I'm in that. I'm in the diner. So
Nice.
yeah, that's. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard it's pretty good, and the script is really cool. So it's got a fucking great cast. I only play a very small part in it, but it's that whole Groundhog Day that repeats itself kind of vibe. So I should have some screen time in there.
That's awesome. And in the film, there's several news networks showing footage. The ones I assume RKN1, 3, and RKNN are named after you, and I would gather STP's named after your editor. Who was ENN named after?
What was it again?
It was ENN.
Oh fuck, dude! I don't even know.
You just threw one out there for that one.
Some stuff, and then while we're doing it, he'll add it and some stuff. He will actually come up with it, just for those like little things, and or there's like little, writing going past saying like bits of information. So I'll have to ask him. I don't know. Maybe we ran out of things to do, and he goes, "Oh, we'll just call it this." I don't know.
Well, I wanted to go back for a second and say that like what you were mentioning a minute ago was like it like rang so true to me about how you said there's more shit content out in the world nowadays than ever, because the truth is, man, like I have like a really big, like I'm a big physical media guy. I have like nearly 2,000 movies, and I buy like the really nice editions of the good movies, that I really like. I buy like the expensive versions. Like I take it seriously. And my wife has even said to me recently, like, you don't have like any movies coming in anymore. She's like, you used to have like 10 movies a week. Like she used to snap on me, like in a fun, loving way, but she would get up my ass because like, how many movies are you buying? And it got to a point where I was having movies delivered to my job so she wouldn't know about them because she was getting, and it's like the influx just stopped. And I told her, I'm like, well, I kind of got caught up on all the old movies I love, and now it's like there's nothing coming out for me to buy. There's no, the last movie I bought was Audrey Rose, and I was like, I saw that and was like, I like that, and I bought it. And I'm like, it's when I am buying movies, it's still older shit. It's not even newer things.
Yeah, man, it's rare. It is rare. Like, there's nothing better, and this is really fucking rare when you come across an old movie that you haven't seen or it looks familiar, and you go, oh fuck, I remember this. It's like it fucking hardly ever happens, but when it does, it's fucking great. But I think it was after. I think it was like mid 2000s, or maybe no. Yeah, no, I think it was early 2000s. Mid early 2000s, where it got to a point where I saw majority of stuff in cinema. Like I literally saw it when you look back at 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s movies and early 2000. I remember being like, I've got a pretty wide range of all those decades of movies that I've watched. And because there was also nowhere near as many movies as there is now, or series. So it was totally fucking doable to watch all those. And growing up, my dad introducing me to all these old movies. So by the time I was however old I was in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, I saw a majority of stuff. And then after that, it's just impossible. There was just more films being made. More, everything was more digital movies. Everything was, everything was just changing. And now it's like, it is impossible to watch every fucking series. There's too many of them. And it also means you can't remember the names because there's so many things. There's so many series, there's so many movies, there's so many different, whether it's fucking Netflix or this or that, there's so many platforms. I mean, it's like, yeah, what's the fucking point of having like 20 fucking platforms just to watch a fucking movie? You know what I mean? And like, obviously, there can never be just one because there's so many fucking companies. But I always go back to that saying, like, do you remember there was that saying which we all heard in movies, like, you'll never work in this town again. You'll never work in the studio again. And that doesn't exist anymore because there's that many companies that are not just run just by the Hollywood studios. There's all this independent stuff and independent companies and making big budget stuff, but it has nothing to do with the studios. So that shit doesn't exist anymore, that line, because there's just too much content. And it's the same when you look at cameras, when the 5D came out. When the 5D came out, that was every upcoming filmmaker at the time could shoot a short film, and it could be decent quality for a change. You know what I mean? And even now you look back at it and you go, yeah, 5D's fucking shit. And nobody wants to shoot on it. But the thing is, when that came out, everybody was making films. So when you look at all the film festivals and you look at just movies online, there was just the influx, like a crazy amount of influx. And then it becomes, the next camera comes in and it's cheap and it's not as expensive, but it's better than that one, or whether it's the Black Magic or whatever, and then the Red and blah, blah, blah. And it just, and it just grows. And again, because of those things, it makes it easier to make a film. But looking at that, it's about making a fucking good film, and that's why I say there's more shit than ever. So it might be easier to make a fucking film, but to make a good film, that's the difference. And because anybody, listen, I take my hat off for anybody that makes a film, whether it's shit or not. To even make a film is fucking hard, but to make a good film is even harder. And to get all these people together and to do something good and get it in front of the right people. Otherwise, it's just sitting there on the back shelf and nobody's ever going to see it. So it's important to get out. Like, my biggest dream when I was a kid is to have my film on a Blu-ray or a DVD or VHS. That was my thing as a kid. But now, I've got the Blu-ray and DVD of my first two films, which is fucking awesome, which, I always, wanted that. So yeah, it just takes a fucking long time to fucking get there,
No, for sure. Yeah, that's awesome. I'd be the same way. I would want my movies to be, I would want the copies of my movies. If I were a baseball player, I would want my baseball cards. You know what I mean? I get it. I totally get it, but the thing about what you were saying about making a good movie is that I feel that, like, in order to make a good movie, you actually have to do something that, if you can't do something that hasn't been done before, it has to be something that, like, strikes at your chords, something that pulls you in, and the thing about street trash is that it's even more relevant today. The homeless are treated horrible.
Yeah. No, definitely. I still get a lot of, it's like with Fried Barry, I still get so many messages about Fried Barry that whether somebody's watching it again or somebody's talking about it, or people just discovering it and messaging me, it's constant. There's not one. I keep saying this, but because here and there I'll go online, I'll go, like, I'm just checked to see who's talking about stuff, and there's not 1 month that goes by that people don't talk about Fried Barry, which is pretty cool. So it's awesome. Constantly there and constantly people talking about it, which is awesome.
And your version of Street Trash opens with what I like to call an ooey gooey bang. How long did that take to shoot? Every time I watch it, I've seen your movie about 3 times now, and every time I watch it, it's just like, honestly, it's like mesmerizing, because that fan of those older movies in me comes out when I'm watching this epic gooey meltdown, and I'm like, all right, how, like, I just am like, I'm not a director, but I imagine filming something like that has to be fun, but I imagine it also took a fucking long time.
Are you talking about the opening scene, or are you talking about the chase scene?
I'm talking about the opening scene with the homeless woman, with like when they give her the toxin, the venom, and it just starts melting down right there.
Yeah, well, yeah. So there's the opening. Yeah, there's the opening scene, which is with the guy when he starts bleeding, through his eyes and goo, and his
That's what I'm
stomach
talking
comes
about.
out
Yes, my
and
fault.
shit
Yes,
like
yes.
that. And yeah, yeah. So that we shot that. I'm trying to remember now. I think it was we shot that in one day. We literally shot that in one day. We shot that in one day. But the
No
guy
shit.
that was in the prosthetics, he was in it for like fucking like 16 hours or some shit like that. Like to sit there, to get up early, get the prosthetics done because it was like pipes underneath his skin and shit, and then then sitting there for the day, and then by the time we finished, it was like ended up being like some 16 hours, or it might even been longer. I don't even know. And then the other opening, the chase scene, that was I think it was like I think it was like 2 days of filming where we did some pickup shots and we added more scenes there with more crowds of more extras just to create that that bigger world. But yeah, I guess when it comes to stuff with the prosthetics, it's just prepping and and if something doesn't work on the take, you got to do it again, or you got to prep the prosthetic, whether it's the goo shooting out or whatever, or something has to snap in a certain way, and then sometimes you start shooting and then it will work, or then it doesn't work, and you got to re-add the pressure in the pipes to like shoot out all the goo. So yeah, I guess sometimes it just takes a few takes. And shooting on film, that's the other thing. Every time we shot a big melt in the movie, we had 2 cameras. Which helped a hell of a lot. But it was still scary because, as I said, we didn't know what we were shooting until a week down the line. So again, from a producer's point of view, I mean, you do a big stunt or you do a big melt and it costs a shitload of money. And then if it doesn't come out, fuck, dude, that's just a waste of fucking money right there. It's just a fucking waste of fucking money right there. You can't do it again. And you haven't got money to do it again. But luckily, everything was fine. Everything came out, and everything worked. So yeah, we were very lucky.
And of like all the gross out, disgusting things in the film, the one that gets me, and my highest compliment is I couldn't fully watch it. I had to look away. Was the black foot? Is that what you find people are most grossed out by, or is it just me?
A lot of people have mentioned that. What was really funny about that? Like, I remember when I was writing it, I couldn't stop laughing my head off when I was writing it. And what was funny was there's a long version of this, but I'm gonna do a shorter version because there was a few other funny details in this. But we were shooting, and obviously she gets her foot and she puts it in that like goo and that food, so the other guy can like lick it off her feet. And as we're filming, he says to me, he goes, "Oh, I nearly threw up," like a few times when he was doing it, the actor. And I said to him, I was like, dude, you'll be fine, man. You'll be fine. We're just going to go again. And he's like, do we really have to go again? And I was like, dude, like nearly, you got to really get in there. I said, you do it. And he goes, dude, why didn't you fucking try this stuff? It fucking tastes horrible. So I said, I'll taste it. So I dipped my finger in the little bowl where the goo was, where the food was. I can't remember what it was. And I tasted it. And I was like, dude, that's fine. It's the foot. It's the foot. It's the foot that fucking tastes horrible. Because of the makeup and all the shit that they put on it. So the food that he had to eat was actually all right. It's the fucking foot and with the makeup on and all that made it taste like shit. So I was like, dude, I'll fucking taste it. It's all right. It's the foot. So.
Yeah, I couldn't fully watch it. I had to turn away, and I was like, that's one of the biggest compliments you can give it. Is I couldn't fully watch that scene.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun.
And we want to thank you again for joining us today. But I got to ask you one last question. I saw this on your IMDb, and it said you had a wrestling match with Gangrel for like 4 minutes. How is that true, and how did that come about?
So it is true. So back in the day, I used to film a lot of bands backstage, and it was mainly US, a bit of UK bands, but it was mainly American metal bands and stuff. So we used to film backstage, hotel rooms, tour buses, and it was basically just partying for fucking 3 years, basically. And randomly, the one time we got tickets to a wrestling thing. And me and my friend that used to film these things, we used to always, if we liked the band, if I liked the band, I'll be in front of camera and he would be behind camera. So whoever, liked the artist more would be like, oh, you like the artist more, you can be in front of camera, I'll be behind camera. And back in the day, I used to love wrestling back in the day. And then now, it's not a thing anymore. And even back, and this is years ago already, and even back then, it wasn't much of a thing for me compared to when I was a kid. So we organized filming, and it was Gangrel, it was Luna, and there was a few other wrestlers. And my friend was meant to be in front of camera because he fucking loved wrestling. So we got there, we met all these wrestlers, and we were like, yeah, one of us is going to get, it was like that whole fucking Jackass thing. We're like, yeah, one of us is going to go in the ring and we'll get beaten up by you, Gangrel, and all this. And it's like, cool. And then my friend goes, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, we're here. Like, this footage is going to be gold, man. It's going to be so good. And he's like, I can't do it. And I'm like, dude, like, we're fucking here. Let's fucking do it. And he goes, I can't do it. Like, you're going to have to do it. And I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking doing it. I'm not like mentally fucking prepared. You meant to fucking do it. And he's like, and I just thought it was such a good opportunity. And then I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to have to do it then. So then I wore this green spandex fucking wrestling little fucking
like a leotard
outfit, and and then it was one of the wrestling masks, like the Mexican wrestling masks. And so what it was the cue was to come in was the guy gets beaten, the last guy that gets beaten, and then by Gangrel, and then I have to come into the ring. So then the guy loses, and then I come into the ring. And as soon as I come into the ring, it's that banter, pointing at Gangrel, shouting him, saying he's nothing, blah, 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 and all this. And before we earlier on in the day, it's not like we planned it, because I know wrestlers are like stuntmen. You know what I mean? They're basically stuntmen. They know how to fall. They know how to do this. They know how to do that. But you're still getting a fucking hit. You still can fucking hurt yourself. It's fucking real. And so I'm busy shouting at him, and then the next thing, he kicks me just like in between my ribs, just below my ribs. I'm out of breath, like completely. And I don't even know when the last time you guys have winded yourself and you can't fucking breathe. But when that happens, if you remember the last time that happened to you, dude, you can't fucking do anything. You just like you're literally having like a fucking panic attack because you can't fucking breathe, and it takes a good few minutes to get your fucking breath back again. And so I'm busy shouting at him. He kicks me. I'm winded straight away. That lasted 4 minutes. The fight lasted 4 minutes. I was winded for 4 minutes. And he grabs me. He hits me on the back. He hits me on the back again. I fall down on the floor. I can see my camera guy like this, just smiling at me just below the ring. And I'm just like, fuck, this is meant to be him. This is meant to be him. And I thought I'll just lay on the floor. And if I lay on the floor, maybe he'll just won't touch me. And he was just picking me up, doing the next wrestling move on me. Then he grabbed my arms, put it behind my back. And then Luna came in, hit me between the legs, kicked me in the head, spat on me, and then the guy that lost the previous match got up on the top belt and fucking jumped on top of me, and then the security like took me out and medical, and then brought me backstage. And as soon as I got backstage, Luna and Gangrel was like, "Hey man, how was that? Was that good?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool, man." But I had this like purple fucking bruise on my back for like about a week after that.
That's pretty awesome, though. That's an awesome story to have.
Yeah, that's the thing. How many people can who's not a fucking wrestler can say they had a fight with Gangrel for fucking 4 minutes and didn't touch him once and was out of breath? So yeah.
So if you were in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, you would have lasted the 3 minutes with Bonesaw.
Yeah, or less.
Well, we want to thank you again for coming on and talking with us. It's been a real pleasure getting to talk to you about Street Trash.
All good, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, guys.
It's always good, friend. Thanks again.
Thanks to Ryan Kruger again for being on. It's always a pleasure to have him on and get to talk to him about his films.
Yeah, man, love talking to Ryan. He's a great guy. Love his films, and that is not going to be the last time that he's on our show. Mark my words.
Oh, no, of course not. We're always here for a Ryan Kruger thing.
Fuck yeah.
And we'll get into our review here of Street Trash, but first it's time for Puff Puff Ask.
Puff Puff Ask is where we read our fan mail that you freaks send in to us.
Damn, freaks.
Hell yeah.
All right. I feel like Scott Steiner. To all my freaks out there. There you go. There's the wrestling reference.
There's a wrestling reference for this episode.
Well, I mean, we already had it in the interview, so that's good.
Yeah.
And today we are smoking Ghost OG. It's a hybrid weed, and we will get into why we're smoking that a little bit later.
It tastes good.
Again,
and the
Frankenstein smoke.
Oh, we just said Frankenstein at the same time. Good. Anyway, all right, our first fan mail question of the day. Dankula the Unholy. Fucking amazing name. If you were cursed in a horror movie, what strain would you use to stay chill while you figure out how to break it? That's a fucking good weed question. I never would have thought to say like what am I gonna smoke before I figure out how to break a curse. So it's kind of fucking funny. But I'm gonna go with Trainwreck and Granddaddy Purple because it'll put me in the vibe to not sweat anything I can't change, but also make me enlightened enough to find a way out if there was one. Look here, I got I love Memba berries from South Park. But see, I mean, it's in the name. You puff once, you recall the binding. The demons are going to glitch out. Then, you have the munchies that seal them away. And I also like Larry Bird. And, I mean, you hit the bowl and call your shot. Curse brick. I mean, that's good for me. And keeping on the cursed topic here, which cursed object would you never want to accidentally bring home? That was by Monster Mash fan, by the way. Skipped right over. Yeah, don't be dissing. It's funny thing is, right after the sentence, I was like, I'm pretty sure I skipped over it. I was going to read the next one and go back, but good thing you caught it. They said that damn puzzle box from Hellraiser scares me more than anything else. I mean, so which curse object would you never want to accidentally bring home? I mean, how would you accidentally bring it home? But that's not the question. Yeah, that's not the question. I mean, it's hard to argue the fucking puzzle box. I was also thinking, but I was like, I don't think it's cursed. But I was thinking the green ooze, the motherfucking Necronomicon. I mean, that's a good one. I got kids. I don't know. I feel like crazy. I feel like that and the puzzle box would be on the same level. Yeah, because they're both tempting. You'd want to read the book. You'd want to fuck with. You'd want to finger the puzzle box. And you didn't say nothing. Did you say finger the puzzle box? I said yeah. I said you would want to read through the book and finger the puzzle box. Yeah. I was gonna say the green ooze from Prince of Darkness, but I don't know that's if it's cursed. That's just Satan. That's just Satan. Yeah, what are you gonna bring a little fucking vial of green ooze in your pocket? I got some green ooze from the basement of this church.
I'm gonna use another wrestling reference, like those guys with the green mist. You just blind
Yeah,
people.
you're gonna be Tajiri. You go out there and just shit all over your face.
Oh, but no, that green ooze just shoots in your mouth. That's
what she said. Okay, a lot of references, a lot of sexual references.
Yeah.
I think it's time we light it up, friends and phantoms.
Yeah, I'm gonna spark this.
Yeah, we're sparking the night and wandering through the twisted corners of street trash.
Getting in the street trash here, and I mentioned we were smoking Ghost OG, and why we're pairing that with today's film, it is a indica dominant hybrid, about 70% indica, 30% sativa. Its THC is between 18 to 24%, and that's all according to Allbud. And Leafly says the effects are relaxed, sleepy, and tingly, with flavors of citrus pine and earthy, and terpenes of mycin, limonene, and carolafin. I never can say that one. And street trash is chaotic, gross, and kind of a wild, trippy horror comedy. And Ghost OG's effects mirror that vibe. It creeps in, it gives you a chill, but a powerful body buzz, and it doesn't feel too aggressive in your head.
Fuck yeah. It's good shit. Was it my hit? I just
Yeah.
sit over here. Sweet. I was like, I want to hit it again.
In there.
All right, well, let me start off here by saying that Ryan Kruger's Street Trash is a masterclass and anarchic practical effect fueled horror that somehow balances grotesque body horror with sly satirical commentary. From the very first scene, the film's committed to practical effects is immediately evident. The now iconic melting sequences are a testament to the era of craft-driven cinema, recalling the visceral ingenuity of films like Slime City while carving out chaotic, uniquely punk identity of its own. What's remarkable about Street Trash is how it blends over-the-top gore with sharp, if irrelevant, social observation. The body melting sequences, which could easily slip into mere shock value, are elevated by Kruger's flair for absurdity and timing, conjuring a world where the grotesque becomes a lens for examining the marginalized fringes of society. It shares a kinship with Body Melt in its unapologetic exploration of bodily horror, but unlike some of its contemporaries, Street Trash has a manic energy that keeps it from ever feeling indulgent. The performances, intentionally exaggerated, complement the film's chaotic visual style, grounding its lunacy in surprisingly human, if flawed, characters. It's a film that rewards both casual viewers and horror aficionados. The former can revel in the sheer audacity of the effects, while the latter can appreciate Kruger's deft weaving of social commentary, low-budget ingenuity, and cult sensibility. In short, Street Trash is a triumph of sleaze, horror, and imagination, an essential piece of 80s horror that proves practical effects and unrestrained creativity can create a cinematic experience that is both repulsive and strangely poignant. 8 out of 10 for me.
Man, what I loved about what Ryan Kruger did here was connectedness to the original Street Trash. The colors absolutely explode off the screen. Everything's so vibrant and alive, which makes the grotesque stuff kind of hit even harder, pun intended. It's this wild mix of beauty, filth, and I mean that as the highest compliment. The dark comedy sprinkled through was pitch perfect too, and I mean, who's going to forget the severed genital scene?
Yeah, right?
Plus, we got Gary Green in here doing what he does best, being completely unhinged and magnetic in every time he's on screen. The movie's just plain fun in the same chaotic way that we loved Leprechaun 3 last week.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, stylish, and hilarious all at once. Check it out. You'll be grossed out in the best possible way. 7.8 out of 10.
And it's funny because you mentioned it's plain and fun in the same chaotic way that Leprechaun 3 is. And that's exactly right. But the difference is what sets this movie apart is that like it actually has a message, whereas Leprechaun was just pure fun.
Yeah.
If you're watching Street Trash,
That's fair.
you're going to hit on different levels. Like, man, they're saying something with this movie. He's saying something with this movie. You know what I mean? So it's like but that's my point is that you can have a movie that's fun like Leprechaun 3 without it just being fluff.
Yeah.
You can actually have a story there, like what Kruger did here, where it actually like means something and is like deep and has saying something, and still have that fun effect. That's really hard to fucking do.
It is,
you know, and he did it.
And I guess it's about time to start getting this wagon into the station and wrap her up. thanks to all the horror hounds and stoners out there for tuning in. Make sure to follow us online, High on Horror 420, everywhere you get your social media, and you can get next week's episode. And I'll about wrap her up. Catch you later.
Stay spooky.